There's nothing like tough competition to bring out the best in a lake commando.
All right, you're front bolting me.
But some days, the toughest competitors on the lake aren't the anglers, but the fish.
Oh, and I lost him. Oh!
Still, no true lake commando ever shied away from a tough bite, and they're not going to start today.
I love fishing new water. The challenge is always the same. Find fish, trigger strikes. Ooh, that's a big fish. But what I really love is beating the other guy. I got a fish. This is Lake Commandos.
Deep in the heart of Texas, Steve Panaz and fellow Lake Commando Tony Owens are on their way to continue what is turning into a classic commando grudge match.
I don't know, Tony. Today, for some reason, I'm nervous. I'm nervous that it's going to be a tough fight.
I'm the same way. I'm trying to get a gut feeling of what I should do, what I should throw today, and I really don't know right now.
A year ago, Steve and Tony went head-to-head in a midwinter largemouth bass battle on a mid-sized reservoir.
There's one. Oh, here. Let me get the net for you. Look at that.
The Yankee, Steve Panaz, got the best of that north-south matchup by burning a vibe machine in shallow water.
I love it when they bite a bait like that. That means they like the color, they like the presentation.
Today, Tony is out for a little revenge. But to get it, he'll have to get the best of Steve on what won't be an easy day on the water.
There's no map of this lake. I mean, it's really going in and going commando, almost like you drop the sonar down, you start getting a feel for the body of water itself and that kind of stuff. So
the mission, find and catch early winter largemouth bass on a small, structureless reservoir under low water conditions.
It's about a 60, 70 acre lake, not a lot of structure on it. Has some man-made brush piles around it. There's some deeper water out in front of the dam. There's some lily pads around the lake. It's stocked with Florida bass, has 3-fin shad, bluegill. I'm choosing a spinnerbait today. You know, the forage base is shad, and I think with a spinnerbait with a double willow leaf blades, it'll mimic shad, and I think the fish will react to that. I'm going to be using a Rebo Beast reel, also a motion rod. It's a medium action rod for spinnerbait with about 15-pound fluorocarbon line. I like fluorocarbon. It seems to be a little more sensitive in a tough line, especially when you're getting through the lily pad stems. I'm motivated. I want to be victorious today. I want to come out on top, and I think the spinnerbait's going to do it for me.
in terms of patterns today, I really struggled. I was thinking about swim baits. I was thinking about some sort of a crankbait that would allow me to cover water. I finally picked a Berkeley Trigger Craw. It's one of my favorite baits. It's got that Berkeley power bait scent and flavor, and the fish love it. I'm fishing this on a 12-pound fluorocarbon. This is Trilene 100% fluorocarbon. This is a 7-foot 6-inch medium heavy Abel Garcia rod. I like the length for control and hook sets. I've got a Revo Premier spinning reel. I don't know, Tony's gonna be tough today. He's got his game face on. I think he's motivated to win after what happened last year. But I tell you what, this is the rig that's gonna take him down today. A little bit of structure or cover here, at least, with some brush piles, probably marked.
Yeah, all these PVC pipes.
Those are marking brush piles.
All the man-made brush piles that they've sunk on around this lake.
And it looks.
And if you'll notice, up and around the shoreline too, that you can see the old lily pad stems that have drawn back.
Yep.
Well, underneath the water, there's also going to be a lot of stems, and there ought to be some bass up in there. We ought to be able to pick some out, whether we're throwing a spinnerbait or swim bait. through there today, we ought to be able to get some to react to us. You know, early, I don't know how good it'll be, but I think if the sun comes out a little bit, warms the water up, it may pick up a little bit this afternoon.
It's cold. I mean,
yeah, it's pretty cool.
I said you put some.
Yeah, I'll put my bibs on.
If I had bibs with, I'd have put them on too. It's cold.
As guest, Tony gets the choice to fish his pattern the first 2 hours or the second, and he chooses to put the spinnerbait to work right off the bat.
I'm surprised at the lily pads that are still under the water. I figured they would had broken down more just to the stems, but there's a lot of the pads still right under the water. I got one.
You got a fish?
Yep.
Oh, up against the shallows, huh? Big fish?
Oh, God, he got
Uh-oh. Let me get a net for you.
I got it. Not too big.
There you go.
There's one.
Boy, look at it. That fish is built like a 10-pounder.
That's a nice one.
Well, first fish of the day.
Yep.
If Tony Owens wants a little payback, that's the way to get things started. But Steve Panaz won't go quietly.
There's one. Got him.
Lake Commandos is brought to you by Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. Trilene, Anglers Trust Berkeley Trilene. Abu Garcia, for life. Power Pole, shallow water anchor. Swift, silent, secure. Garmin, the clearest scanning sonar images on the water. And by Plano. On a small reservoir in East Texas, Lake Commandos Steve Panaz and Tony Owens are going all out to not only beat each other, but also figure out what might be a very tough bite. But understanding fish and how they live is how Tony Owens makes a living. As a biologist with Texas Parks and Wildlife, Tony works out of the Texas Freshwater Fisheries Center near Athens, Texas. In addition to being one of the state's largest production fish hatcheries, the center provides a unique, entertaining, and educational experience for visitors. Tony's job is to hatch and raise Florida strain largemouth bass for stocking throughout the state. When he's not raising bass, he's fishing for them, and he's a veteran of a number of Texas tournament bass circuits.
Hey, anytime I get a chance to fish with Tony, it's a fun day. The first time we fished together was probably 15 years ago on a lake just like this, maybe 20, 30 miles down the road, and we had a ball that day, and we had a ball today. Now last year I got the best of him. He may claim I cheated, but no, he just flat got beat.
Really figured you'd just pick something off. Right?
Yeah, you'd think that brush would hold him. Hard stem stuff. Wow. That wasn't a fish. Fish?
One right there. A little bit better fish.
Big
here.
fish?
A little bit better fish here. That's a nice one.
Oh, that's a nice fish. All right, you're front boating me. God, look at the size of the belly on that fish. Wow. That is a chunk.
I chose spinnerbait today. That's sort of my confidence bait. When I go to a lake and I'm in search mode or I'm trying to find a few fish, that's usually what I'm using.
That fish pre-spawn or what?
Yeah, he's just fat for the, she's just fat for the winter. Right there, she's a little old football. Nice chunk.
Nice one. So I'm down 2 already. Tony's fishing the shoreline. He was working up in 1.5 feet, 2 feet of water. I was actually casting out in the 3 to 6 feet of water, thinking we'd cover water. The fact that he's got 2 bites, one of them that came after I switched and started fishing shallow means there was probably a color issue, so I switched to the same color spinnerbait that he had on. And I like the fact that we've got bit, but what I don't like is we've already worked maybe a quarter of the lake and only have 2 fish. You're fishing a 7-1-1 retrieve on a beast, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
So you're moving it kind of fast.
Yeah, I'm not waking it, but
You're keeping it high in the water, aren't you?
right.
You're by nature a faster fisherman than I am in terms of just moving down the shoreline.
I've always been a chunk and winder. I don't know if it's just tournament fishing over the years. I mean, you know, when you go up.
Oh, I got bumped right there. Now you're gonna get him. Shoot.
No,
That was definitely a fish.
I just think I can cover a lot more water with a rattle trap, spinner bait, something like that, or buzz bait versus a worm.
Yep. Fish? Got one. No, man! I'm not helping you with that one. Nice fish. Now he ate away from shore too.
He was about midway between.
Show that jaw is deformed.
Yeah, it looks like, I don't know what's wrong on both sides. Both sides. Yeah, it does. He's a little bit leaner fish there.
Well, you're up by 3, dude. Putting a whooping on me.
Yeah. That's 3.
One of the things that's hard about not being in charge or in front of the boat is I'm not watching the Garmin. I'm not watching, you know, I'm not paying as much attention to what's going on. I can't because it's not in my control. I'm not as in tune, but as we're going down these shoreline, I tell you what, I am looking for spots that I want to come back and fish.
Right.
When we get to the good pattern. There's a fish. Yes. Yes. Not a big fish, but I got to stay within striking distance.
You up there now?
Yep. We're within striking distance. That fish ate about 30, 40 feet from shore.
After watching Tony build a solid lead, Panaz is finally back in the game, and it's almost time to switch to his chigger craw pattern.
We should get bit here.
This segment is brought to you by Yeti Coolers. Yeti, wildly stronger, keep ice longer. In East Texas, the Commando rematch between Steve Panaz and Tony Owens has turned into a grinding battle of wills. Tony's spinnerbait plan has produced a handful of fish, but they have been few and far between.
I'm for a loss right now. You know, you get on a body of water, you just have no... It's like, I know I'm supposed to be doing something, but I don't know what it is.
Now it's time to switch gears from the fast-moving spinnerbait to Steve's slower, more subtle chigger craw.
Come on, fish, where are you in here? So we're out in about 4 feet of water right here. I wouldn't even care if you caught the fish. There's one, got him. He ate on the downward fall. Tony, that one hit. Well, that thing is a football. Look how short and fat that thing is. He's built like this down to a skinny. It's like a bodybuilder. But he ate right about there. It was just the initial cast, wham.
Bam.
Well, we got one on the chigger craw. That makes me feel a little bit better. At least we got something that's going to trigger strikes right now, because right now we're struggling to get bites. Seriously?
Yep. He was going too. He was swimming with it. Good night. Just retie that.
Are you going to give me a hard time about the line now?
I don't know. You probably had this since the 60s.
Somehow him breaking out is my fault.
There's a lot of good little tidbits you can put in the show.
Somehow him breaking off is my fault.
This is probably stuff you had in the 60s.
Do you need me to show you how to tie knots?
Gosh.
Hey, we fished this shoreline cover hard today. I don't think there was a stump that we missed or a weed that we didn't run a bait by. The fish just weren't there in big numbers. What's amazing about fishing is it could be a tough day and everything can change with one cast. That was a specific area that we found fish. There you go. Ooh, nice one too. Nice fish. Oh, what a brute. What a brute. Oh,
Ooh, look at that. Popped right out. Look at that.
Tony, that's a huge bass. Holy cow. That is a giant.
It's a pretty fish too.
Yeah. I think you like soft plastic better now.
Now that's the kind of fish we come to Texas to see. And Tony Owens is one step closer to the revenge win he's been waiting a year to get. But he hasn't sealed the deal just yet.
Oh, maybe we should have, I got, ooh, there's another big one. Well, I hate to say it, but my fishing season's over and it's time to start the winterization process. That process includes using Yamalube engine fogging oil to protect my engine's pistons, cylinder walls, and valves from moisture and corrosion. Before fogging, treat the fuel in the tank with Yamalube fuel stabilizer and run the engine until the stabilizer has circulated. Start by mixing this quart of fogging oil with 2 gallons of gas. I use a portable 3-gallon gas can for this purpose. Before starting the engine, install the outboard flushing device and connect to a water supply adequate for engine cooling. With the engine in neutral, start the engine and run at a fast idle. When the engine starts to smoke heavily, it's fully fogged and you can shut it down. This may take 10 to 15 minutes. Now shut off the engine and the water supply and reattach your prop. When it comes to achieving peak performance, maintenance matters.
Lake Commandos is brought to you by Yamaha Marine. Reliability starts here. Yeti, wildly stronger. Keep ice longer. Fraybill. Berkeley Power Bait. Fish bite and won't let go. And by Abu Garcia for life. Time is winding down on a tough bite in Texas, where Tony Owens has the lead. In an effort to close the gap, Steve has moved them off the shoreline to slightly deeper water, and he's switched to fast-moving crankbaits to try and contact active fish.
That's a better fish. That's a good one. Can you get the net for me, please?
Swing the boat.
This is a better fish, man. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Light spinning rod, 6-pound. Ooh, look at a. Oh, it's a swiper. It's a wiper.
It's one of them hybrids.
That's a hybrid striper,
Yep,
baby.
That's it.
Jeepers creepers. Strong fish.
I told you.
Oh man. Turn this way. Come on. Come on.
Stab it.
No, no, no. We're doing it right. There he is, right. I gotta keep his head turned this way. There we go. Yes!
There we go.
Oh, after a tough day.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, that's my first hybrid ever.
Well, that's a good one.
Is it? On a flicker shad.
That's a good one.
Oh, that white flicker shad. Oh, look at that.
The hybrid striper may be a thrill, but it doesn't change the Commando scoreboard, and Tony won't give up the top spot.
You got one?
Yeah, that's all right.
You got a fish?
Yeah.
Big one?
I don't think he's that big. Just another bass.
A nice bass though. Nice. Uh-oh, you're ahead of me by one again.
Uh-oh.
I can't believe how fat they are. They're just chowing.
maybe we should have, I got, there's another big one.
You may got another striper.
Woo! Can you get the net for me?
Yeah.
I'm gonna spin this boat around. Let me bring this over.
It's got to be a striper. Thing's not coming up. I think.
Yo, good job with the net. Yes!
Right there. Look at that.
Oh, he's beautiful. Can you get a picture of this for me real quick?
Another hybrid striper is another fun catch, but it won't change the end result. And as they load the Ranger at the end of the day, Tony Owens has the payback victory he's been waiting for.
Oh man, revenge is sweet, very sweet. But all in all, Steve, it was a good day. We had a lot of fun. We kid each other and rib each other, and it's always a good time, and it's all in fun.
Tony fished well, I fished terribly. I lost fish, I missed bites. I just simply was making bad decisions on the water. Congrats, Tony, good win.
He gave me some line, I think, that came over on the arc. Old, I mean, we had one puff of wind, I think it broke one time today. But had a couple of fish on it, Law said it would have been a lot more. I think I'd have been up, 4 or 5 fish on him.
I'm Captain George Mitchell. This is Coastal Chaos. So you want to catch a shark, huh? Well, you better bring the big guns to town. Not just these big old hooks, but big equipment. I've got this 70 loaded with 100-pound test. It's got 100-pound backing underneath it. We've got a 400-pound wind-on leader to a 300-pound cable. That's right, cable. On the other end of this cable is my big old circle hook. This is a 22-0 stainless steel circle hook. But let me show you my secret. This little guy right here, that little 3-0 circle hook, that's the way to catch big sharks. All right, my number one shark bait is a fresh caught bonita. We just got this guy in the chum. He's perfect. He's about an 8-pounder, but believe it or not, I'm only gonna get 4 baits out of him. I'm gonna put this little hook, little 3-0 hook, lightly through the skin of that big old chunk of bonita. Now the beauty of this is we've got our giant circle hook fully exposed. When the shark engulfs it, we can immediately come tight. This will slide down, go right in the corner of his jaw, and makes for a great clean catch and a better clean release. Oh, anything for an inch of line. Come on, baby. Give anything for an inch of line. But be ready now. When he grabs it and he starts to take off, you're gonna want to transition. Make sure you're wearing your belt. Make sure you're ready to do battle. Coastal Chaos, tips for serious saltwater anglers.